We'd like now to introduce Traci Park, Los Angeles City Council Member, Council District 11. Traci spoke at the VJAMM commemoration last year. Her office recognizes the importance of this corridor and of the VJAMM to the community, and has helped keep it clear of campers, tents, and shopping carts. Thank you to Venice Deputy Sean Silva and Traci's Executive Assistant, Dave Cano, for facilitating the support of CD11. We thank Councilmember Traci Park for providing folding chairs and underwriting the AV sound and editing of the VJAMM commemoration this year. Thank you. Traci Park.
Phyllis, thank you so much. You are just an absolute force, and it's the absolute minimum and least we can do to help support the incredible work that you and your team do day after day, year after year, advocating on behalf of the community here in Venice. I want to take a moment just to thank everybody who helped make this commemoration ceremony happen today. Phyllis, you and your office are just tireless advocates. Jenny, it's wonderful to have you up here as the MC today. And May, it's just an honor to get to be your council member and to be here with you today. So thank you so much for being with us. Since 2017, this monument has stood at the corner of Lincoln and Venice, where all of us pass by every day. It serves as a stoic reminder of a past that we must take care to never repeat and that we must never forget. But let us make no mistake about where we are today. We are on the precipice of repeating the exact same policies and mistakes that led to those circumstances 83 years ago. At this very spot, men and women, families, children, members of our Venice and West Side communities were subjected to one of the most shameful chapters in our nation's history. And sadly, every year, we hear less and less from the voices who were there when it happened. And it's imperative that we never forget them. This monument and the community that saw it placed here have ensured that there will be a committed presence and remembrance to those events. Your experiences will live on through your stories and our commemoration. And today we stand here remembering all of those from our Japanese American community on the West Side that were impacted, targeted by this internment and discrimination. It was an assault on every American's freedom and our ideals. And it is my honor and privilege to join you all here today in remembering that solemn purpose. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Councilmember Traci. We'd like to introduce, nope, we're not, we already did that. We'd like to introduce a former Los Angeles Councilmember, Ruth Gallanter. When Ruth represented CD6, she authored the ordinance which gave 814 acres of Los Angeles city-owned land in Inyo County to the National Park Service. The Manzanar National Historic Monument became the first of the camps to be designated as a National Historic Site. Ruth?
Look, first of all, I want to thank you for allowing me to be part of this. And my main message, I'm going to tell the same story I tell every year because I think it's important, and besides Phyllis said I could. I grew up in New York. I didn't know anything about Manzanar until I must have been 10 or 11, and I saw some news headline about concentration camps. And I asked my mother about it. My mother was a school teacher. She was a congenital teacher. And she said to me, you know, it doesn't do for Americans to get all high and mighty about how about the concentration camps in Europe because we had our own version here. And she proceeded to tell me about the executive order and all of the camps. I remember I was thinking about it this morning. I was so shocked. Years later, I moved to California. I found an exhibit about Manzanar at a museum in San Francisco, and I asked one of my colleagues at the health law program at UCLA, whose wife was Japanese American, if she'd like to go to the exhibit. And he said, I don't think so, Ruth. She was born there. And that was my first experience with really confronting that this is not abstract history. This is real people's lives. Years later, I'm on the LA City Council. I get up to eat my breakfast down the street here, and there's a news headline that the Manzanar Committee, whom I had met, has asked the Department of Water and Power to turn over use of the land where Manzanar had been. And they said no. What? I threw everything back in the refrigerator. I could not believe it. I threw all my food back in the refrigerator. I raced downtown. I said, hurry up, hurry up. There are going to be 15 council motions. I want to be first. There was one. There's a provision in the city charter that allows the council to overturn an action by a commission. As I anticipated, it got a unanimous vote, but I couldn't believe I was the only one to put in the motion. Well, my first impulse was to call up my mother and say, I tried. I did something you told me, and I tried to help. I think the real message that I want to say today is none of us is alone. And it's important. When I went to Manzanar on the pilgrimage, and I realized how many people I knew that I worked with every day, either were born there or their parents met there. And, they were just the people I worked with. I hadn't thought about who's from what heritage. There we all were on the bus together. And I must say I had the best food I've ever had. My friend Lillian Kawasaki's mother said, it's much better than peanut butter and jelly. There is a saying in the Jewish community, never again. We need to, all of us, never again. And of course now, it's especially galling that these clowns in Washington who are threatening so many different people are doing it in the name of anti-Semitism. I can't tell you what that does to me. Anyway, thank you for sticking to it. Thank you, Phyllis, and the whole committee for persevering. Obviously, I have to keep persevering. But we are none of us alone, and we must not let them divide us into this kind of American and that kind of American, that kind of American. Thanks again. Keep up the good work. See you soon. Bye.
Thank you, Ruth. We'd like to introduce Alvin Ho of the City of Santa Monica's CAPE, Coalition of Asian Pacific Island Employees. Alvin serves as Senior Administrative Analyst for the City of Santa Monica and has coordinated the city's Asian, American, and Pacific Island Heritage Month for May. In 2021, CAPE featured the VJAMM and paid tribute to Arnold Maeda. In 2022, Alvin marched alongside Meiko Kakashi's convertible in the Santa Monica 4th of July parade, honoring first responders and medical personnel. Alvin will fill us in on CAPE plans for May 2025. Alvin Ho?
Thank you, Phyllis. Each of us here today come from a different walk of life, but we are united by our commitment to what the VJAMM monument stands for. The City of Santa Monica's Coalition of Asian and Pacific Employees consists of over 100 members and allies that stand with us today. We follow in the footsteps of the VJAMM committee who worked hard to provide this permanent wayfinder to guide groups like ours and future generations. The VJAMM committee recognized the importance of each of the 1,000 lives that embodied this monument. Their words engraved on this memorial continue to inspire our efforts to bring meaningful programming and connections to the community. Amy Aoki's words remind us of the strength and resilience of those before us. Yoshinori Tomida's words remind us of our gratitude for those that advocate on our behalf when we feel powerless or without voice. And Arnold Maeda's words remind us of our love and compassion for other living creatures that make us human. In the spirit of these quotes, we extend an invitation to the community to the lineup of events that Santa Monica will be hosting in celebration of AAPI Heritage Month. The Santa Monica Library will be hosting a screening and discussion about the Manzanar baseball project that showcases the ability of the human spirit to find hope even in desolation. The library team is also hosting an event with illustrator Pearl Ouyang to feature her newest children's book, Nearly Exactly Almost Like Me. And in honor of the universal bond that we share with our furry friends, we're partnering with Downtown Santa Monica at the Promenade for a dog-friendly event featuring performances and dogs-only social club. At next Tuesday's council meeting, the Santa Monica City Council will be declaring the month of May as AAPI Heritage Month, and the city's website will feature a blog post with the dates and times of these events and other celebrations in the region. I encourage you all to join us in the month of May to come out and connect with others and strengthen the ties of our community. Thank you.